Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. It's time for your Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest preview. Big up your damn selves. Make sure you smash up the likes and subscribe. Deadline day has disintegrated. It's done. It's done ski. No more transfers, no more ins, no more outs, no more shake it all abouts. We are finitoed. It's been a long road from when the window opened to when it closed. We have been going back and forth with bids, with incomings, with outgoing. Deadline day was still a little bit uncertain, still a little bit of unsure. We didn't know what was going to happen with certain players, but now we can finally conclude the final figures. In this transfer window, 23-24, the summer window, Chelsea players coming in, 448 million and a half million spent and 226 roughly and a half million made in terms of transfers, 221 roughly on net spend. And listen, for me, taking a look at this window, it's a massive success. Look at the amount of outgoings we've had. Look at how many wages, how much volume of wages we've got off the bill. The amount of money we've cleared out here. It's a lot. The Lukakus, the Koulibalys, the Kantés, the Covers, the Hudson-Odois who went in deadline day there, joined Nottingham Forest. He was on 120k a week. It all adds up. Hakim Ziyech. So many players. Mason Mount, Kai Havertz. I'll be here all day going through them. So many players left in that summer. The clear out that they promised they were going to give us before the window opened, they said we're going to have a massive clear out. We're going to really slash the numbers down on this squad. That's exactly what we've done. Now we're left with around about 28, 27 players. And like Pochettino said, when the players are all fit, it's a little bit over than what he would have liked. When there's a couple of injuries, which at Chelsea there really always is, it's fine. It's okay. It's manageable. We haven't got it down to the fantastic, perfect 25-man squad, but in January, you can be sure there'll be a couple of outgoings again and more rumours will circulate. Whoever didn't get enough game time prior the January window will be searching potentially for a move out. But Cobham stood firm. It was pure profit, potential plan for Bowie. He was trying to take the Cobham, academy products and really put together some crazy fees. We were talking potentially 100 plus million-ish, around about just over 100 million for the likes of Ian Maatson, Conor Gallagher and Trevor Chalobah on the final day of the window. And all of them were moving like Wolf of Wall Street. Every single one of them stood firm, stood down and said, I'm not going anywhere, don't go anywhere. And it was mad. They all started rejecting the offers that were coming towards them in terms of the Nottingham Forest for Trevor Chalobah. Tottenham, I never felt like someone that wore the armband against Wimbledon would then be playing for Tottenham the very same weekend. And then obviously when it comes to Ian Maatson, he showed a lot of proper Chelsea spirit by staying because, the phone calls was there with Vincent Kompany, the offer was there and agreed with Burnley in particular. He was the one player that had a deal confirmed and had a deal agreed, and he still chose to stay at Chelsea, even though that loan 31.5 obligation was kind of in place for Burnley to take him, and he still decided to stay. So massive commitment from him. I'm sure Pochettino was kind of in the ears of the likes of Gallagher, especially in the likes of Ian Maatson, saying, listen, I do like you guys. I do want you guys to stay. The club are looking to make a profit. They're looking to make that pure profit on you. But if you do stay, I'm going to give you opportunities. So we're going to see how that transpires. The Cucureas, you're in limbo. The Trevor Chalobah's a little bit in limbo as well. We've got far too many centre-backs, too many left-backs. But on the whole, it could have been a lot worse. It wasn't perfect. It's not 10 out of 10. But I'm definitely giving this window an 8.5 out of 10. I think the business that we've done coming in, the Jacksons, the players like Caicedo, like Lavia. People are sleeping on Lavia already. They don't understand the quality of asset that we've just attained. This guy, he is a proper midfielder, It's not no joke. This is a proper player. I saw him away at the Emirates against Chelsea in the league last season, against Manchester City. He turned up every single time, top performances. I cannot wait until he gets integrated into this team. And many more. Really good talents. And then, of course, there's the couple of wobbly ones. We'll have to see how Decisive does, of course, early days. We'll have to see how Sanchez does in goal, early days. Those ones, we shall see if it was worth our time, really, and our investment. But a lot of young players coming in as well. And some deals done for the outgoings. The likes of Humphreys, gone out on loan, deal done. He's gone, signed a new contract, and then left. Also, in terms of Brewster, again, another championship loan. He goes, gets his experience, gets his game time. And Hudson-Odoi, like I mentioned earlier, he goes to Nottingham Forest. We're penny pinching on terms of the money coming in, but the stocks are ridiculously low, unfortunately. He's a player that didn't really have much of an impact at Bayer Leverkusen last season with no goals. and I think 1 assist, so we're never going to really command much with 1 year left on his contract. So he goes to Nottingham Forest. And speaking of Nottingham Forest, because we are playing against them, that team has done so much business on deadline day, I can hardly keep up. Now, I have got the names and you know, we've seen the transfers coming in, but I don't think they're going to be playing against us. So the team that I'm going to put out on screen for Nottingham Forest is the predicted team, obviously minus Brennan Johnson, who started this whole kind of ricochet effect potentially, with Tottenham obviously acquiring him for a big fee, 47.5 million, makes the Cole Palmer fee look a lot more polite, a lot more, you know, composed. I'm a lot more happy now with the fee we've paid, I guess, in comparison to that, because we were interested in Brennan Johnson. I was flat out saying that's a no-go zone. Cole Palmer, I still think slightly overpaid, but the talent, the potential is far higher, I think, than Brennan Johnson. So we've invested in potential, and hopefully that's going to come to fruition. But in terms of Nottingham Forest, they got a lot of deals done late on deadline day. A couple of players coming in. Of course, they've already added with Andre Santos, who will not be eligible to play against us, which is great. But they've got a lot of midfielders. They've got a lot of options in there. So that team, maybe you won't see too many of those debutants. I don't think they've got them in over the line in time to play this weekend, especially, you know, on this very day on Saturday. But in the future weeks, you're going to see Nottingham Forest. They're almost like I think Laurie called it a Chelsea light on DR Sport. Very, very accurate. A Chelsea light, a diet Chelsea. They're a Chelsea that haven't got as much money, but they bring in just as many players, if not more. I think they've brought in like 47 odd first team players since last summer. We haven't brought in quite as many, but we're trying to catch up to them. And yeah, you just, every hour you check Nottingham Forest, there's a player coming in, whether it be Origi, whether it be, you know, Sonage. There's just so many players coming in, and it's just so hard to keep up with. They signed a new centre back also, so it's just it's ridiculous. It's wild. I think 4, potentially 5 deadline day signings in the end, but job done. There was a little bit of a square. There was a little. Last time we called it a triangle between Giroud, Aubameyang, and who was it? Giroud, Aubameyang, and the final one was Batshuayi. That's it. It was a transfer triangle. This was a transfer square, and we were looking at, you know, Gravenberch going to Liverpool. Cool. Paulinho replacing him at Bayern Munich. That collapsed, and that was meant to be Højbjerg then going to Fulham to replace Paulinho. That collapsed, and then Gallagher, I never really felt he'd go Tottenham, but that also therefore then collapsed. And listen, I don't feel like he was ever going to go there, but it was an interesting story to follow. Only one of them came off, and in the end, no one put together a fee for Gallagher or Chalobah to the level that we were looking for, and Chalobah rejected Nottingham Forest outright. He wasn't interested. So the Cobham boys remain. We go into this game. Those guys that were on the cusp of leaving, I don't think, especially Gallagher, I don't expect that to have any sort of influence on the team sheet for him. Chalobah, let's just see how many guys can get onto the bench, because when everyone's fit, which is very rare, it will be a difficult task for him. So getting into my team before we get into others, my team for this game, listen, I think we have to be fairly realistic. I don't expect Cole Palmer to start for what Pochettino is speaking on in terms of Cole Palmer, integrating him slowly. I think really they'd ideally think, okay, international break, you're going to train with the team, you're going to train with the club, train with me. I'm going to integrate you slowly, make sure you're settled, moving down from Manchester to London. It's all happened very quickly. The deal came together inside 24 hours, if not less, 12 hours almost, and they're going to probably take their time with him. So he's not going to start this game. I'm already putting that out there. He's not starting. I can feel it in my veins. He ain't starting. He'll be on the bench. Might get 15-20 minutes max, and we'll go from there with him. So Cole Palmer, don't expect him to start. I'm not going to bother putting him in my lineup. He barely trained. He did train. He has trained, but he's barely trained. I think maybe 1 or 2 sessions. But why change a winning team is what probably Pochettino is going to take a look at in regards to the Premier League. We've beaten Luton, yes, not that impressive, but job done nonetheless. I expect Sanchez to be in goal. I don't think it will be Petrovic again. Hopefully we may see him against Brighton in the next round of the Carabao Cup. Won't see him in the Premier League, at least not immediately. Maybe Sanchez makes a mistake, then he gets the opportunity to battle for that place. Right back, Gusto, of course. With this tall, you know, very physically imposing Nottingham Forest team, we know their striker very well. He is a problem. We've got Gibbs White in there as well. It's a team that want to try and cause problems on set pieces, on the long throws, and the wide free kicks, etc., the corners. We need to be standing firm there, and we need to be having our probably top tier height centre backs all laid out, you know, ready to go. So I think Decisi's going to start. I think Thiago Silva's going to start, and I think Colwell's going to start. I think that's going to be the back four. You're going to see Colwell at left back again. Gusto maybe pushing forward, Colwell tucking in if you're back three. You might not like it, but it's what Pochettino's been going with early doors. Maybe, just maybe after the international break, when he gets a bit of period now to work with the group that is now settled, then he knows who's going to stay, who's going to go. A couple of players like Mudryk confirmed coming back from injury. Badiashile, there'll obviously be others as well. Once those players have kind of come back and settled, Amando Broja another one, then I think he might go back to maybe what we were hoping to see in pre-season, which is not a centre-back at left-back and not a left-back at wing. And then he will start to hopefully get more of what we expect from Chelsea. But I think he'll want to just, again, get through this game. A team that put up a great fight against Manchester United in the defeat at Old Trafford, a 3-2 defeat. He'll want to get through it. And this is a team that I think we actually got severely dealt with last year, if part of the long list of teams that did deal with us, but they were one of them. So yeah, I think that's the back four. In the midfield, I think Caicedo and Enzo is pretty self-explanatory. Going further forward now, I think it will be Chilwell playing on that left wing. But in my personal opinion, I would prefer it to be either Madueke or Ian Maatsen. Madueke was probably the only attacker against Wimbledon that can kind of walk away from that game, especially in the first half, and say, yeah, I impressed. But it is only Wimbledon. Now, he did do that coming off the right-hand side, but I'm not giving away that right wing spot to anyone other than Raheem Sterling. He's performing and he's in great form, so he sticks out in his position. He holds that down. Madueke would then have to vacate to the left and try and, play his similar game out there. I think he can play left wing if we was to give him a go. If to offer him the same instructions as Chilwell and to say, listen, we're going to look for a lot of off the ball runs. You're quick. You'll be able to make those runs off the ball. You'll be able to go past players, to dribble, to carry, and to hold width. Like I said, a Leroy Sané-esque. Don't think it will happen, but maybe in the future it could be something that is considered if Cole Palmer, if Man City fans are to say that he is better on the right wing, and obviously Sterling maybe not to move him now. If Cole Palmer is better off the right, or at least in the right half space, cutting in on his left foot, getting those shots off, the ball striking ability that we've seen in the Super Cup and against Arsenal in the Community Shield, then maybe one of those right wingers would need to look at playing on the left. More likely to be Sterling, but could be Madueke if we were to train him to do so. And I think he's done it in the under-21s for England as well. Mudryk, like I said, just come back from injury. Could start, but again, I don't think so. I don't expect him to. I think he'll play from the bench, come on for a few minutes. So it's either Madueke or Maatsen, because I think they're more fluid. I think they're more natural left wingers than Chilwell, but expect Chilwell, because it probably will be Chilwell. I'm just giving you a heads up. And then it will be Sterling and Jackson as your final forwards. You're only two out-and-out forwards. I expect them to start. Like I said, prepare for your potential meltdown for seeing Chilwell at left wing, because that's what we've been doing. And there's no evidence of that changing, to be honest, until I can clearly see that these wingers are fully fit in Mudryk, and Madueke is obviously maybe acclimatized to that position. So yeah, that's where we're at. Also on deadline day, there was some João deadline day moves for João Felix and João Cancelo, but God ran out of wishes for João Paulinho. He did not get his move, and it's a damn shame indeed. But they only could bless two Joãos at once, and he was not one of them, so he stays at Fulham, and really shocked that no one else went in for him in this window, man. That is a top DM, absolute top class DM. The guy is a dual beast. I know he's not, maybe glitz and glamour on the ball, but he does a decent job at least on the ball. And in terms of duels, the guy is an absolute warrior. He's probably one of the best in the world in terms of aerial and ground duels. So crazy that he didn't get his move, but it is what it is. None of our concern, thankfully. And yeah, everything else really is wrapped up, people. We've gone through all of the deals. Pochettino's had some words to say about how much we've spent. People have been talking about we've spent $1 billion this, we've spent $1 billion that. I've gone through obviously the net spend for this window. The net spend for the entirety of the kind of Bowie Empire era is about 770 million or something like that we've actually spent in regards to, we've obviously made a lot of money in sales, but no one gives a shit. But really, it's funny because there's a lot of injuries right now, like we've always mentioned, and I think once we get hopefully close to our strongest team, people are going to see, okay, they did actually spend the money on something. There's not maybe clear, undisputed world-class players yet, glitz and glamour all over the lineup, but there's players that you can definitely be worried about. The likes of Nkuku. Reece James obviously has to come back, wasn't spent on, but very important in our 11. So I think Poch has a point. A lot of people are kind of getting onto us saying, oh, why don't you just win the league right now? Well, Pochettino wants to try, so, you can't blame a man for trying. One thing you will say is that Diego Morena, Go Diego Go, has gone on loan to Lyon. That's another outgoing, almost forgot to mention, for 2.4 million, the fee. Lyon have said that they paid. We've already made a profit on him, and he's not even really done anything. He didn't look fantastic against Wimbledon. Was hooked off at half-time. And now we've made a 2.4 million profit on him already, and he's gone on loan to Lyon. Great loan, because Bakalo's obviously gone to PSG. That was a deal that got done. Mouani's gone to PSG as well. That was a deal that got done late on. So there's some serious French attacking talent at PSG right now with Mbappe, Dembele, to add to Ramos from Benfica, and obviously Asensio as well, signed from Real Madrid. That attack is nuts, and I look forward to seeing them. But yes, Diego Moreno gone to Lyon, and kind of surprising, but he took up our last international spot. It was looking like it might go to Washington, but then Brewster obviously going to the Championship on the loan deal. I was kind of hinting at in the last live stream that makes sense for Washington to stay, because Bro is injured, and Cuckoo, our emergency third choice, maybe striker, is injured as well. And we've only got Jackson. So on the bench, we literally have no striker with Brewster gone. So Washington stays. We have never seen a glimpse of him, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he can offer. And hopefully, potentially, he could maybe even play against Brighton in the third round of the Cup. We want to beat them, make no mistake, but we also can't really risk Jackson getting injured at all at the moment. So probably will make a couple of changes in that Cup game nonetheless. But that is everything, really. Going into this game, my prediction is a 2-1 win. I am cautious because I do think Nottingham Forest pose a threat, and they've spent a damn amount where they've brought in so many players where the quality of their squad is just rising to almost mini Europa League level. They've decided to invest in some young talents in Donalo in the last window, and a Brazilian centre-back again, and then obviously another centre-back coming in. So it's just keeping up with them is crazy, but they are potentially doing some very intelligent and smart business here. So we've got to keep an eye out for them. They're not going to be easy. Man United saw that last weekend, but we need to win the game. So hopefully we just get the job done and get out. I'm pretty glad, hopefully, that Origi is hopefully also not available for this, because we don't need Origi coming up against us at Stamford Bridge. I just have a feeling he's one of those little dirt cow kind of players that will cause us a problem at Stamford Bridge for absolutely no reason. Unprovoked foolishness. So we need to win the game. It goes without saying. We go into the international break then, hopefully, with 7 points out of a possible 12. Could have been better, but could have been worse, I guess. An average start, 2 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat. So we go from there. Guys, make sure you smash up the likes. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. The game is coming up very soon from when this comes out. The watch along will be there. Smash up your reminders. 2 o'clock we go live for the 3 o'clock kickoff in the UK. The review comes straight after that. And then on the Sunday, we are going to be covering a lot of games. We covered the Roma versus AC Milan game. It was great to see Giroud. It was great to see Pulisic. It was great to see Loftus-Cheek, Tomori, who got sent off. Jose Mourinho, maybe Lukaku as well was there. And then on Sunday, we've got Liverpool versus Aston Villa watch along. We got Arsenal versus Manchester United. And I may even throw in a little Lyon versus PSG, because I ain't going to lie, my taste buds be tingling for what that could, strike up. I don't think our boy will play. Way too early. Literally just signed for them. But there's a lot of interesting players on that pitch. Cherki being one of them. And obviously, Barcola's now signed for PSG, a former Lyon player. So there's just so much going on, and I don't feel like I can miss out. So keep your eyes peeled on that. Make sure, like I said, you smash up the icons. Let me know in the comments what you think of the team. Big up your damn selves as always. In a bit, people. Peace. Blah, blah, blah.